Rosa times damascena, more commonly known as the damask rose, or sometimes as the Rose of Castile, is a rose hybrid, derived from Rosa gallica and Rosa moschata. Further DNA analysis has shown that a third species, Rose of fedtschenkoana, is associated with the damask rose. The flowers are renowned for their fine fragrance, and are commercially harvested for rose oil used in perfumery and to make rose water and rose concrete. The flower petals are also edible. They may be used to flavor food, as a garnish, as an herbal tea, and preserved in sugar as gulkand. Description: the damask rose is a deciduous shrub growing to 2.2 meters tall, the stems densely armed with stout, curved prickles and stiff bristles. The leaves are pinnate, with 5 leaflets. The roses are a light to moderate pink to light red, the relatively small flowers grow in groups. The bush has an informal shape. It is considered an important type of old rose, and also important for its prominent place in the pedigree of many other types. Varieties: the hybrid is divided in 2 varieties. Summer damasks have a short flowering season, only in the summer. Autumn damasks rarely have a longer flowering season, extending into the autumn. They are otherwise not distinguishable from the summer damasks. A still popular example of R. times damascena is the Isfahan Rose. The hybrid Rosa times centifolia is derived in part from Rosa times damascena, as are the Bourbon, Portland and hybrid perpetual classes. The cultivar known as Rosa gallica former Trigontipetal or Rosa damascena. Trigontipetal is considered to be a synonym of Rosa times damascena. History of cultivation: Rosa times damascena is a cultivated flower, no longer found growing wild. Its origins were traditionally thought to have been in the Middle East, though recent genetic tests indicate it is a hybrid crossed with the pollen of Rose of fedtschenkoana, suggesting that a more probable origin is the foothills of Central Asia, home of its pollen parent. The Crusader Robert de Brie is sometimes given credit for bringing the damask rose from Syria to Europe sometime between 1254 and 1276. The name refers to Damascus, Syria, a major city in the Middle Eastern region. Other stories say the Romans brought the rose to England, and a third account says that the physician of Henry VIII gave him a damask rose as a present, around 1540. There is a history of fragrance production in Afghanistan from the damask rose. An attempt has been made to restore this industry as an alternative for farmers who currently produce opium. Cultivation: Rosa times damascena is best cultivated in hedgerows to help protect the blooms from wind and to facilitate easier picking. Gathering the flowers is quite labor-intensive as it must be done by hand. There are about 20 to 40 days per year when harvesting occurs, depending on the type of Rosa times damascena cultivated in the region. The roses are gathered by hand and brought to a central location for steam distillation. Bulgaria and Turkey are the largest producers of rose oil from the different cultivars of Rosa times damascena. France and India also contribute significantly to the world market. Morocco, Tunisia and some other Middle Eastern countries have historically produced rose oil, but their modern contribution is minimal. The town of Kazan Lake in Bulgaria was founded in 1420. It is assumed by most historians that the cultivation of the Kazan Lake rose began around that period. Rosa times damascena, known in this region as the Kazan Lake rose, were reportedly brought to the area by a Turkish judge who brought them from Tunisia and cultivated them in his own fragrant garden, and is now cultivated for commercial use in an area surrounding Kazan Lake called the Valley of Roses. The distillate from these roses is sold as Bulgarian rose oil and Bulgarian rose otto. Turkish rose oil is sold as rose oil, Turkish rose otto, and Rosa damascena atta, or itta in similar languages. While there are still families who run their own small distilleries and produce what is known as village oil, the commercialization of rose oil as a high-quality product is carefully regulated through a state-run cooperative in the Isparta region of Turkey. The roses are still grown by the small family farms, but the flowers are brought to one of many still set up and regulated by the cooperative for distillation and quality control. India has also developed an industry producing rose oil as well as rose concrete. Perhaps due to the low labor cost and the commitment of the Indian government to international trade and high-quality standards, these products from India today are cheaper than those from Bulgaria and Turkey. The city of Taif in Saudi Arabia is famous for the cultivation of this flower, which is called wad Taifi. Culinary uses. Damascus roses are used in cooking as a flavoring ingredient or spice. It appears as one of the ingredients in the Moroccan spice mixture known as ras el hanout. Rose water and powdered roses are used in Persian, Indian, and Middle Eastern cooking. Rose water is often sprinkled on meat dishes, while rose powder is added to sauces. Chicken with rose is a popular dish in Persian cuisine. Whole flowers, or petals, are also used in the herbal tea, zahorad. The most popular use, however, is in the flavoring of desserts such as ice cream, jam, Turkish delights, rice pudding, yogurt, etc. Western cookery today does not make much use of roses or rose water. However, it was a popular ingredient in ancient times and continued to be popular well into the Renaissance. It was most commonly used in desserts, and still is found as a flavor in traditional desserts such as marzipan or turin. Damascus rose water. For centuries, the Damascus rose has been considered a symbol of beauty and love. The fragrance of the rose has been captured and preserved in the form of rose water by a method that can be traced back to ancient times in the Middle East, and later to the Indian subcontinent. A Persian scientist, Avicenna, is credited with the invention of the process for extracting rose water from rose petals in the early 11th century.